Hey there, are you frustrated with paintings that look like a different artist made each one? I totally get it. A lot of artists who are wanting to become more professional in their artwork get frustrated by all these different styles in their work. So, in this video, I'm actually going to chat with you about why that's happening, why it's important to focus, and how you can do that. So let's jump right in. So first of all, I want this to feel like an informal conversation, like you and I are at a cafe and we are having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and you have asked me, a 30-year artist and teacher, why your work is so scattered. What can you do to make it more focused? And so here's what I would say. First, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Grab one yourself if you'd like. And what I'd say is this. First of all, this is exactly where you should be. Every new artist should be exploring different styles, should be trying different mediums and different techniques, because you're building up your skill set, you're building up your toolbox. So that's a totally expected thing. And in fact, I would almost encourage you to do that when you're first learning to be an artist. I encourage you to take the introductory drawing and painting classes and try ink and try watercolor and try acrylic and oil, because then you can get a better sense of what you love to do. And then also you actually develop your skills more. So you're going to understand, if you take drawing one, how do I draw a form and make it look three-dimensional? How do I create shadows? How do I create different values? That's Coco, my dog, wanting to go outside. So we're just gonna try to just make her stay here. So that's what I would do, okay? I would just try to explore so that you can learn a lot of different things, okay? And then also, again, you will figure out what you love to do the most, what subject you like to do the most, or what style you like the most. So I actually call this the exploratory phase. So that's what perhaps you're in. You've tried all different stuff. Everything looks different because you've learned a lot of different things. There's nothing wrong with that. And some people will want to stay in that phase. They want to stay exploring all different kinds of stuff, and they don't want to focus or get serious about their artwork in the sense of selling it or applying to galleries. I want to make sure I say that I am totally behind you if you are the kind of artist who wants to just explore and make a bunch of different things and not ever think about selling. Maybe you give them as gifts, and focusing doesn't really matter to you. That's fine. This video might not be for you. This video is really for the person who wants to get more serious, okay? So first, I congratulate you on all the exploring that you've done, okay? But next, let's just talk about what you might be feeling right now. You might feel frustrated, you might feel like an amateur, you might feel like you're not a real artist, you might even want to give up because you've got all these different paintings and or artworks, you just don't know, like, what's my deal? What am I all about? And maybe it's not even as exciting to go into the studio because you're not really sure what you're going to do, okay? Now, if I missed something about where you are right now, let me know in the comments below. So again, in this place of being frustrated, it's good because you're at that point where you're going to probably come to a breakthrough. Like, you want to push out of that, right? Some people will quit. Don't be that person, okay? Be the person who keeps going, who figures out how to find their own voice, okay? And why is it important to find your own artistic voice, your own style? Why is it important to focus a bit? So let's just think about albums, for example, okay? You think about the Beatles, and within one album, all the songs, there's something that's really relatively similar to them, right? There's a cohesiveness to all the songs in that album. Now, let's take the Beatles' first album, Please Please Me, right? And then let's go to Magical Mystery Tour. They are two very different albums, right? But there's still something that's Beatles about it, right? There's still something that's unique to them, even though it's two very different styles. So what I want to say is that don't think you have to box yourself in. You can do different styles and still be a serious artist who finds galleries and sells work, okay? Because some people, when they hear me say it's good to focus, they think, oh, I've got to just focus on one style and that's it. One medium, one subject, that's it. That's actually not how it goes. In fact, for me, I explore usually 3 different areas. I do abstract landscapes, non-representational, and abstract florals. So the one behind me here, that's an abstract landscape, a little bit hard to see because I'm sitting in front of it. This one's a non-representational. I love those different styles, but there's something that unites those pieces. But then I have another series that's all natural pigment paintings. And so the colors are nothing like this. They're ochres and whites and blacks and browns. They're very neutral nature colors. So does that make me not a professional artist? No, it makes me an artist who loves to explore different things, who loves sometimes working with natural pigments because I love crushing rocks. I like making the paint. But then I also like to do my bright and colorful abstracts. So again, don't think you have to be in a box, but you want to find 3, 4 styles that you're working within. But at first, let's just focus on one, maybe 2, but 1 to start off with, okay? So let's talk about why it's important. Again, so if you're going to submit your work to a gallery and you show them your website, which has 20 different artworks on it that all look scattered and different, they are not going to consider you. I guarantee it. They want to see a consistency, a unity. Go back again to the album example. You know, the Beatles had the Magical Mystery Tour with all these songs that felt kind of similar, right? So there's an album, right? You have a series that feels kind of similar, but within that series, the artworks are a little bit different. But the album name, the series name, is one, and it's all unified by that, okay? So yeah, you want to show the gallery that you are a strong technical artist, but that you have focus. And I think people make the mistake sometimes of thinking that a gallery wants to see all different artworks to show how varied you are. That's actually the opposite of the truth. And this video is not really about getting into galleries. I believe I have other videos about that, and I will certainly make more. If you want to hear more about those, let me know in the box below, the comment box below. But you know, anyone who goes to your website that sees a bunch of different artworks, they're going to think that you're more of an amateur. And there's nothing wrong with being an amateur. Again, I don't call it amateur, I call it art enthusiast. Like an art enthusiast is someone who wants to explore all different things and they don't really care what other people think. They don't care about getting to a show. They're not about that, okay? But if you want to be professional, you don't want to look like that, okay? So that's one thing to consider. Now, here's a little sort of nuance to that. Let's say you submit your work to a juried show, to 5 different juried shows, and there are 5 different themes, 5 different, ideas. Well, then you might be able to submit all those one-offs to different shows. You might be able to get into those shows. But when you get into a gallery that's showing 10 of your pieces, no, you won't, okay? So I want to make sure that distinction is clear and why it is important to focus. And even if you go to an art fair in your community or somewhere else and your booth has a bunch of different artwork, it's again not going to look very professional. If you have 2 or 3 different styles, let's say you do abstract trees and realistic landscapes and perhaps abstract flowers, that feels consistent, right? There's like a consistency of theme, like it's all nature, and that's okay. So now that we know why it's important for artists who want to become more serious, like what you need to do to appear that way, how do you do it, right? So what I want to suggest is that you look at all of your artworks and I want you to find the 1 or the 2 or the 3 that feel most you, okay? There's something about it that feels you, and I want you to write it down. Just get out a journal or your sketchbook and put the title of the painting, why this feels like me, what colors, what shapes, what forms, the subject, whatever it is about it, okay? Then I also want you to look at the piece in your collection that looks the least like you, okay? And I want you to write down that too. Why is it not you? What is it about it that makes it not you? It might be that you hate the colors. It might be that it was an assignment for a class. It might be that you copied a Monet painting and that you were learning something. So those are ones that we want to discount and not include in our authentic voice, okay? But let's go back to the 1 or 2 paintings you have that really show you. So what you want to do after that point is you take those paintings and now we're going to create a few more that feel like those paintings, okay? So we have now maybe 5 paintings that feel like you. That's where we start to go deeper into our unique, authentic voice. And actually, it turns out that I'm running a challenge in a few weeks. Right now, I'm filming this in September 2025, and it is called Awaken Your Artistic Voice, the Define Your Style Challenge. So this challenge is about helping you understand the strengths in your artwork, what is most you in your artwork, how to sort of dial in and get inspiration without copying, and then I'll give you a roadmap for how to proceed to make more work that feels like you. So if you want to join this challenge, I have not yet opened enrollment. However, if you click on one of the freebies below, it'll subscribe you to my email list, and then you will be the first to know about this challenge. You'll be able to sign up, and it's going to be really fun. A lot of artists enjoy looking at their work in this way and really sort of stepping back from making and instead being in a place of analysis and deep reflection. So even if you can't join the challenge, if it's after September 2025 and you're watching this, jump on my email list. You'll know about the next challenge that's coming up. So be sure to do that. And again, be happy about where you are. You're in a really exciting place where you're going to start transitioning, maybe coming to your first breakthrough, because you're starting to really want to go deeper into who you are. And we do learn a lot about ourselves in this process because our art's a reflection of us. So, real quick, what I want to do is an example, actually. I want to talk about this painting behind me and how I might talk about this is me, the me-ness in this painting. And I know it's a little bit cut off at the top. So this is an abstract landscape, okay? And it has curvy lines, and there's like abstract hills and mountains here, but then there's abstract hills up here as well. And we have a lot of this big openness. So I live in Santa Fe. The hills are curvy and the mountains are curvy. The colors are kind of subdued. They're not super bright. So these are kind of more toned down colors. But also I really appreciate space and quiet and like vastness, being able to look out and see the horizon. So these soft lines also reflect that. Like I don't live in a city, so there's not a lot of hard lines here, right? Like hard line city buildings, right? So this very much reflects me. It reflects colors I love, but also the place where I live. So I wanted to give you an example of that. So when you go into this assignment, that you can understand how to do it, okay? So once again, thanks for watching. I'm glad that you're in this place. It's very exciting, and I hope that I can help you find your unique voice. Be sure to ask any questions you have in the comment box below. I make sure to read every comment and respond to every question. Hit a like if you enjoyed this, okay? Take care. Now, if you like this video, I think you'll love this one on the left about what galleries are looking for in submissions, or you might love this one on the right about the importance of not overworking your piece.